Welcome to another episode of In Your Business. Today, we're going to meet with an entrepreneur who's very interesting to me because one of my favorite things is chocolate and candy, and that's exactly what he's doing. Many of us know Abbott's Candy in Hagerstown, Indiana, and beyond. And so this morning, we're going to meet with Jay, and Jay is the current owner of Abbott's Candy. And we're going to learn about Jay, but then we're also going to learn about Abbott's Candy and the business and how things are going. So, Jay, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So Jay, what I like to do is on the show, each episode, we try to get to know a little bit about the entrepreneur, and then we go into the business and learn about it. So if I may, I would just like to start with asking you a little bit about maybe your childhood as you were growing up. Did you want to be an entrepreneur, or what was it you were thinking you were going to be?
I had no idea at one point, but I always wanted to own my own business, I guess, kind of be your own boss kind of thing. But when I went to school at the Culinary Institute of Hyde Park, New York, then I got into food service and things like that, but got into sales and then eventually got into the candy business.
So it sounds like then as you went through high school, your plan was to go to culinary school. Is that correct?
That's I always like to cook at home. And it was a good opportunity for me to go and experience the cooking school.
I think that's great. That's just something I can't do. I've never had the ability to go into the kitchen and cook. So I think it's awesome when I meet somebody who can. So then when you graduated, you went on to culinary school. After that, what happened?
Well, it was a 2-year program. And it was interesting. It was very different. I was originally from Ohio, so I was kind of a Midwest kind of guy, kind of naive and whatever you want to call it. The school was about 2 hours north of New York City, so it was quite an experience of seeing the other part of the world that I'd never seen before. There were a lot of people that were different than me. Their experiences were much different than myself, but it was a growing experience in those 2 years at the school.
Great. So then after that, did you go into that business, or did you go right into owning Abbott's, or what was the career path?
Long story. I got out of the culinary. I was working in Youngstown, Ohio for a while. Come to find out the chef at the Marriott on the east side of Indianapolis was also from the Youngstown area. Got a call. He had heard I graduated, flew me out for a day to see if I'd like to work at the Marriott. I took that position. I was kind of a just all around cook, if you want to call that, when I first came. Kind of worked my way up to sous chef and then chef at the end of that. But it really wasn't, I guess when I finally got there, it wasn't really what I was hoping for. I did get into cafeteria service at that point in time because I wasn't working weekends or holidays or any of that. It was kind of a Monday through Friday, still food involved, but a Monday through Friday kind of position. After that, I got into food sales, which I even liked that much better because I had a little bit more control of what I was doing. I was basically my own boss on the road. Worked for Booth Fisheries for about 8 years, selling seafood in the southern part of the state. Abbott's happened to be one of my accounts, and we were talking in, I think it was about 1991. And I said, I'd really like to have my own business. That was after Lynn and I got married. And so we were talking and hitting it back and forth. And Abbott said, well, they have a lot of customers in Indianapolis area. And they thought, it would be good to have somewhat of a shop of our own in Indianapolis. So in 1993, we opened up the North Store. We ran that one, well, we're still here for 27 years, which is a good thing in retail. But we opened up a South Store in 99. We dabbled at the city market 3 or 4 times, which never seemed to work out. And then that's why in 2012, when Suanna wanted to retire, it was a good fit for us to take over the business in Hagerstown.
So basically you had a store independent, which was a retailer, and then you were able to acquire the manufacturing side of it as well. So today you're the owner of Abbott's Candy in Hagerstown and Indianapolis. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, my wife and I own both of them.
Okay. Now, are those the only locations for Abbott's, or are there others?
Well, we do some wholesaling as close as Reed Hospital in Richmond.
Okay.
As far away as we have one in Massachusetts. I'm not sure the name of the business, but we do sell caramels to them also, and then they resell our product there. But during the holidays in December, we actually ship all over the world.
Okay. Well, I know it's a very common household name. So when it comes to Abbott's, you have a full line. Is that correct? I mean, it's Abbott's Candy, so it's everything from. I know you're well known for your caramels, but you also have, I believe, nuts, and you have a whole line of chocolates and different things. Is that correct?
That is correct. We are known for our caramels. Matter of fact, Bob Hope had them for his 100th birthday party. That's our name to fame. But we have about 6 different flavors. And like you said, they are our what we're known for. But we also carry about 49 different varieties of chocolates, light and dark. We do bring in truffles from Burlington, Vermont. We have a full line of sugar-free that we source from a place in Pennsylvania. We do make fudge, brittles, all, peanut brittle, cashew brittle, and we still carry the candy that he first started, which was a butterscotch. And that's what W.C. Abbott started in 1890, was this butterscotch. And I don't know if he'd be upset at this point in time, knowing that we don't sell a whole lot of that. We do sell some, but that's pretty much people that know the Abbott product.
I see. Okay. Well, that's kind of neat that you continue to do that. So, but it has to be a fun business. So is all the manufacturing done there in Hagerstown? Is that correct?
Correct. Yes. All the products that we sell, whether it's wholesale, retail, anything like that, is all manufactured in Hagerstown.
Okay. So in Hagerstown, you have the manufacturing as well as retail. And then in Indianapolis, you have retail. Is that correct?
Strictly retail. When I owned this over here, independently of Abbott's, we did make fudge here. And we also made fudge for Hagerstown until we did take over the plant over in Hagerstown.
And then you shifted it all back to Hagerstown.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So for you as the owner, it seems that you spend some time at probably both locations. Is that correct?
Yes. Of course, I spent 19 years here in Indianapolis, but my time now is spent mostly in Hagerstown. There's a lot more decision to be made. Manufacturing is, and right now with COVID, of course, it's making it a little bit more difficult. We're having a little bit more trouble getting product. Chocolate right now, we're a little backed up as far as not being able to get product in. But even the wax papers that we wrap our caramels in, there's been a delay there also because of the paper. Yeah, so it's just trying to get everything sourced and get it in, and just to make sure that all our employees have everything that they need to work a full day.
Wow, that's got to be challenging. I feel like everywhere I turn right now, it's a different story. I mean, it's, if you're at a gas station, you're hearing about the delivery drivers not being able to put fuel into you, and if you're at one of the big box stores, you're hearing about trying to get help, and now hearing about the supplies, even to get the wax paper. I mean, it's got to be a challenging time to be a business owner.
It's very challenging. The last probably 3 or 4 months have been, I hate to say that because I don't want to jinx anything, but have been a little bit better.
Okay.
I know in 2001, after 9/11, our business here in Indianapolis went up because we're kind of a feel-good kind of product.
Okay.
When people are feeling depressed, the best thing you want to do is go buy some candy, of course. But we noticed an uptick after 9/11. So I think when people aren't feeling their best, sometimes they want to get something that makes them feel a little bit better.
Sure. No, it makes total sense. So, what a fun business. So, Jay, I'm going to shift a little bit and talk about the business because here at the university, I teach business and entrepreneurship and trying to get, a student to fully understand what it means. It sounds great to own your own business, okay? But I personally know how much work it is, how much risk is involved, as well as the reward. But you have to do it all. And I mean, I say that loosely because you hire people that are experts, but you're still responsible. And so, how does it feel to be the boss?
Well, I'd like to say I'm kind of a co-owner. My wife and I have gone through this journey, if you want to call it that, for the last 27 years or 45. We've been married, but she's more the technical director. I'm more the backbone kind of thing. You got to have that person that does the lifting and all that. But I don't see how people that are by themselves do it. We kind of take on different characteristics of the business. I'm more of the ordering and keeping the plant running and making sure there's product in Indy and all that. And she's more of the taking care of the 941 and the sales tax and all those kind of things. And I really couldn't run it without her. And I don't see how a lot of people, there are ways of getting around that. But sometimes we've noticed in business, a lot of business owners that we've been in contact with, sometimes when they have other people do their payroll or their taxes or anything like that, they kind of lose control of, where's this money going to, or where's this money, and we ask those questions frequently. How do you know that it's correct, or if you understand what I'm saying? It's just, there's just so much to do to keep even a small business like ourselves running. We just like to keep a little bit more, I guess, control of where we are and what we're doing. And financially, we're just a little bit more conservative than a lot of people.
I think you have to be, especially, I mean, the business is riding on it. So, most people don't realize it. They think that if you're an entrepreneur, you own the business, you probably have plenty of money. But the truth is, every dime out the door is yours. So, I mean, it's sometimes very tight.
Very tight, yes. And our employees understand that. They know that I'm extremely, if you want to call it cheap or what, frugal, whatever word you want to use. But as I explained to them, if I can save a little bit of money over here, then I can spend it over here to keep things going much easier for yourself and your position.
Sure. Jay, how many employees do you have?
We have around 20, 21. Of course, that's the big problem right now, is just trying to find help. And I imagine everybody tells you that. I mean, we have interviewed, I don't know, 20 people. And that's probably out of the 40 or 45 that were looking for a position and may have set up an interview to come in and talk to us, but they just don't even show up anymore. But we have tried to hire 2 people. Right now, I could hire 2 people tomorrow to work in the Carmel room, but we just can't find anybody that wants to work.
Wow. Sounds like a fun job.
Oh, it's fun. It is just fun. Yeah.
Wow.
And we're not selling cars or anything like that. So as far as salaries, we have to kind of watch, because there's not a lot of profit in candy. And, I feel so sorry for the food service people, because I know what percentage you're working off there, being in that business for a while. I just don't see how they've survived.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is challenging. It's difficult, but people like yourself that really pay attention to it, that's there every day, looking at the bottom line, making sure things are as efficient as they can be. I don't think you're cheap or frugal. I think you're just efficient. And I think efficiency is important in small business. So
You have to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting to hear how you sort out the work, because as the entrepreneur, you're responsible from everything from hiring and training. You're also responsible for the real estate, when it's best time to buy versus lease, when it's time to expand, when it's time to downsize. All those things are on your shoulders. And
Yes.
then, there's just so many things that people don't think about. I mean, when it starts snowing, somebody has to shovel. You got to
Yeah,
get the
that's
sidewalks
usually
clear.
myself or my son, one or the other. So,
Yeah.
because we hate to be spending money that we don't need to spend if we can do it ourselves.
Right. Well, sometimes I'm sure that means that if the store opens at 10, you're there at probably 7:30 or 8 o'clock, and maybe even earlier. And I don't know what your schedule is for manufacturing. I mean, do you guys operate 5 days a week or 7 days a week? How does that work?
The Hagerstown stores retail shop is open from 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock, Monday through Friday. We are not open on Saturday and Sunday, but we do sell our product at the antique shop uptown, which helps us get that Saturday, Sunday sale without having employers or employees involved in that. So that way we're kind of covering 7 days a week without being there on the weekend.
Okay.
And it's a little bit easier to find people that want to work Monday through Friday than Saturdays and Sundays.
Sure.
So
that makes sense.
And then Indy, we're open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6, and then Saturday from 10 to 5, and we are closed on Sunday. But we have a lot of retirees over in Indianapolis. It's basically just a retail shop, so there's not a lot of heavy lifting or anything like that. So we have a very good group over here in Indy. They keep the shop up and running, and all I got to do is bring the product over to them. So works well.
Sure. Let's talk a little bit about the history of Abbott's, though, because I know when I visited you in the store, you told me a bit about it. And I think Abbott's has an excellent story. So if you don't mind, maybe walk us a little bit through that timeline.
Well, it's kind of like any other business. WC opened it in 1890 at his house in the garage behind the house. And that's where he manufactured candy. He actually worked for a candy company over in Indianapolis, Dillon Candy Company. He was a sales rep and decided he wanted to have his own business. Once again, starting another business. But he went back to Hagerstown, opened up a restaurant, which I guess is popular in Hagerstown. But he made candy at night, had the restaurant during the day, decided that's not what he wanted. He just wanted to make candy. So he started at the house in a block building behind the house in the garage, made candy. They actually dug a basement under the house because in the summertime it was too hot to manufacture. But if he was working in the basement, it was cool enough that he could do that. So he did that until 1942. In 1942, WC passed away and gave it to Bruce, his son. Bruce took it over in 42. Bruce ran it and made some improvements to the business. And then in 49, they were all uptown watching a movie on Christmas Day, and Bruce had a heart attack and passed away at the theater. So his wife, Rhea, and her mother-in-law took over the business, and they'd never run the candy operation, but they figured out what they had to do, and they did it. And Rhea kept it running from 1949 at the house until 1985. And she bought the building that we're presently in Hagerstown, moved the whole operation to the location where it is now in 85. Rhea passed away in 88, gave the business to Sue Anna, her daughter. Sue Anna ran it from 88 to 2012. And that's when she had decided to retire, but none of their three daughters wanted the business at that point in time. So with us having the shop in Indy, it was kind of a natural fit for us to take over that operation. I was only 58, not really ready to retire. So we thought we'd just go ahead and take it. My wife bought the building, and we're still working at it today.
That's awesome. And I'm sure you have a plan for sustainability. I'm sure you've got something that's going to succeed you.
Well, yes, in the spring, my wife and I decided maybe it was time to slow down. So I somewhat semi-retired at that point in time. She was already retired at that point. So our son, Jason, we gave him the operations manager label, and he's pretty much taken it over. This is something that he has been familiar with at the North Store since he was 13 years old. So he's 40 right now. So the last 27 years at the dinner table, at wherever we were, we're always talking about Abbott's Candies. So he was very familiar with the product. And so he's running the operation now.
That's excellent. That's the story behind Abbott's, I think, is amazing because it's truly a family business. I mean, I do realize that it's not necessarily the same family today as it was, but you can certainly tell the story and identify it back to what's really gone on. And for a business to sustain, you need the passion. And I mean, you can't always be in there trying to make money. You have to actually have the right purpose for why you're in business. I think that passion shows. I mean, you have that love for the business. So,
Well, and you can't always worry about making the money, which comes in handy, though, believe me. But you whatever you do, you have to enjoy what you're doing. There's so many people that we talk to that can't wait until they retire, and when they start a job, they're looking to retire when they start. But if you find something like us, there's difficult times in November and December and February and March or April, the busy times of the year. But to be able to make those decisions on your own and try to figure out what you're going to do 6 months or a year down the road or things like that, we've enjoyed the ride.
Sure. Jay, I've got to ask you, though, on that note, because you almost define the difficult times as the busy times. And that surprises me as a business person, because I would think I'd want to be busy. So why would the busy times be the difficult times?
Well, it's just, you're trying to keep the expectations of your customers where you want it to be.
Okay.
For instance, we got a call, and I thought it was late November, maybe even early December last year. We received a phone call out of the blue from a gentleman that runs the largest metal recycling company in Los Angeles. Just called us out of the blue. He said, "I hear you've got the best caramels." And I said, "Yes, we do." And he said, "Okay, I need this, and this as far as an order." He said, "Can you do it?" I walked into Jason. I said, "This is what he wants. Can we do it?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Now make sure we can do it, because I don't want to mess this up." And we did it. We got it to him, mailed it out to all his customers, and he got a box, and he called back and said, "They're amazing." He said, "It's just the best product in the world." And it's those kind of things, I guess, that makes you feel good. I mean, you have no idea where the call is coming from. Absolutely. Right. And you have no idea how they ever heard of us. But, hopefully he'll be a good customer forever.
Sounds like you did an amazing job. So I hope so.
Yes. So,
wow.
But you have to get that done.
Sure. And that is a lot of stress and pressure. And that's going to bring me to a question I ask every entrepreneur that comes on the show. And that's about your hours. Now, I know what time the store opens and closes, but as the entrepreneur, I know you work a lot of hours. And some of those hours may be planning, they may be thinking, they may be talking. You just said that Jason's been having conversations around the dining room table since he was a young guy. So how many hours do you suppose you work?
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in Florida, and we were at a shop, and they had cookie cutters. Well, we make a snowman out of peanut butter and out of Rice Krispie, and then we coat it in chocolate. Here we are in Florida on a vacation in a little shop, and I saw the cookie cutters in the shape of a snowman. Boom. Had to buy it because we need it back at the shop. I mean, and that's why I'm saying it's almost 24 hours, 7 days a week. No matter where we are, we're always thinking of, is this something we can use for the store? Is this something that we can buy now that'll save us money in the long run? We'll run to Walmart or wherever to buy butter if it's on sale, to save a penny or two or whatever we have to save. So, I mean, constantly, Lynn and I are always thinking of what we need to do for the store, if there's anything we need to pick up.
See, I think that's just incredible, because that's exactly how I expect entrepreneurs to think. And I mean, it's yours. A lot of people think, oh, well, the company's buying this, the company's doing this. you're the company. It's
Right.
yours.
Right.
And I mean, and
So you take
have
it
to-
out of your right pocket, put it in your left pocket, whatever, it's all, you're basically, yeah, the company.
but you work really hard and you do a lot. And the first people to get paid are not yourself and your spouse. I mean, it's everybody else, right?
When we started the North Store, I didn't make a salary for the first 5 years. We had to live on Lynn's salary. And that's why I'm saying it takes both of us to run the operation, because if she wouldn't have been making enough money to sustain us, I wouldn't have been able to do this. We wouldn't be where we are today.
Sure. No, I can tell it's been a great partnership. So
Yes. Yes.
Congratulations on that. So I do want to ask you before we go, because we're getting short on time. We've talked about the business, but I'd like to know from you, what do you think is the largest reward you have for the business?
Probably, and Linda, we don't talk about it a lot, but I guess saving the Abbott's name and the business when we took over in 2012, I think Suanna just would have let it close. And just knowing the history and, having 20 employees being involved in that little bitty community, but just keeping the business where it is and hopefully making it better and keeping it perpetuated through the years.
I think that's outstanding. So I think, to be able to do that and recognize is perfect. So thank you again, Jay, for the time that you spent with us today. I appreciate the interview.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
This concludes another episode of In Your Business. Today, we spoke with the owner, the entrepreneur, Jay Noel of Abbott's Candies in Hagerstown. He also has a location in Indianapolis, which is where he first got his affiliation with Abbott's. But as we can tell, he's very passionate about the business. He understands the business. He works hard in the business. And he has a plan to sustain the business. So we've enjoyed this business for well over 100 years and look forward to the future of it. So again, thank you for watching In Your Business. And we say thank you to Jay once again for being a part of it.